So our next speaker is going to talk to us about the individual assistance program. We had a number of questions after Hurricane Matthew from people concerning what's known as individual assistance. The town was pursuing a request for public assistance through the SCEMD, but we were aware that there is a program that isn't for the town's use, but for individuals to request assistance that comes from FEMA. And so our next speaker is with the South Carolina Emergency Management Division, Elizabeth Roberts, to talk to us about individual assistance program. Elizabeth?
Good afternoon. I know it's been a long day, so I appreciate y'all hanging in there. My name is Elizabeth Roberts. I'm the Individual Assistance Officer for South Carolina Emergency Management Division. I'm going to talk to you really briefly today about some of the types of assistance that may become available after a disaster, what that application process looks like, generally what the process looks like once you apply to being able to get assistance through those programs, and then some steps you can take now to better prepare yourself for a disaster. Your first line of defense as homeowners for any type of event is going to be your homeowner's insurance. Regardless of whether these federal programs become available, filing a claim with your insurance provider and getting a determination from them is pretty much going to be your first step, no matter what assistance comes available. There's assistance available through the Small Business Administration. They provide low-interest disaster loans. These are only available for your primary residence, as is the assistance through FEMA. So vacation homes, second homes, those are not going to be eligible for these programs. The SBA disaster loans are available for homeowners and renters. You can get up to $200,000 for repair for your primary residence, up to $40,000 for a personal property replacement or repair, and these can be an up to 30-year term. Again, these are very low interest loans. Even people who may traditionally not qualify for loans may qualify for these. And there is some assistance available from businesses, as they are the Small Business Administration. FEMA individual assistance, they have a maximum grant award of $33,300. Whose home here can be completely replaced and reconstituted for $33,000? Right. This program is not intended to make you whole. It is intended to get you to a basic level of habitability, meaning safe, secure, and sanitary. And y'all, our experience recently has been FEMA's definition of safe, secure, and sanitary is probably not what we think it is. So, and again, only for your primary residence. There's housing assistance available through FEMA and other needs assistance. That other needs assistance may cover things such as medical, dental, and heaven forbid, funeral benefits. Both of these programs cannot cover losses that are covered by your insurance or any other funding mechanism. So again, go ahead, file the insurance. Don't wait to figure out if we're going to get a disaster declaration, because you're going to have to do it anyway. When FEMA comes to town, when that application opens, there is a 60-day window for you to apply. You can apply online at disasterassistance.gov, by phone at 1-800-621-FEMA, or in person if we have set up a disaster recovery center in the area, or if there are disaster survivor assistance teams running around. If you saw anybody during the floods or during Hurricane Matthew wearing the blue shirts that said FEMA Corps on the back, walking around with iPads, those were the DSA teams. Don't worry if you don't remember this information. It will all be available at either FEMA.gov or at scemd.org. When a disaster happens, we put up a disaster-facing page that has all the information from all the state partners, like Derek alluded to earlier. So what does the process look like? All right. So I'm a homeowner, and I've just been impacted by a disaster, and I've been told that FEMA individual assistance is available. So I'm going to file a claim with my primary insurance. I'm going to register for assistance with FEMA. Even if you haven't gotten a determination back from your insurance company yet, if you've incurred disaster-related losses and you think you may need help recovering, go ahead and apply. As long as you're truthful on your application and you're truthful with the inspector, there's no harm, no foul. If you later find out that you don't need the assistance, you can withdraw from the program. It does not impact your ability to get assistance in future disasters. Once you register, your name will be sent to a FEMA inspector. That inspector should call you or otherwise contact you to schedule an appointment to come and take a look at the damages to your home with you. They generally won't show up unannounced. FEMA will never ask you for payment in exchange for services. So if anybody does that, they're not bona fide. Please don't let them into your home. We did not have a large issue with that, but I know that that is a concern for some people. All FEMA personnel will be badged, and you can ask to see their credentials. Once that inspection is done, your information will be sent back to an applicant services person at FEMA for them to review your case. That inspector is not going to make an eligibility determination. That has to be done back at the office. Some of those determination letters come pretty quickly. Now, anybody that's gotten them, if you get one within a day, sometimes it'll say, hey, you are not eligible for assistance. What we found is that usually means you are not eligible for assistance right now. So you may need to wait until you get that information back from your insurance adjuster. You may need to provide additional documentation. So if you see denied on that determination letter, it's not always the final decision. So please, if you still have disaster-related losses that you need assistance with, read all the way through the letter. See if there's additional documentation you can provide so that you can go ahead and file that appeal and see if you may not actually be eligible for assistance. Sometimes you'll be referred to the Small Business Administration from FEMA. Please don't count that SBA loan out. Sometimes it is the best mechanism for you to be able to do that recovery. Again, these are very low interest rates. These are lower interest rates than you can get for the most part on the private market. If you apply for SBA and for whatever reason they're not able to offer you assistance, sometimes that will refer you back to the FEMA process for potentially additional assistance through there. If you don't carry through with that process, the anticipation is that you have identified another mechanism to continue your recovery, and it's not a resource that you need. Ultimately, the most effective recovery efforts are going to be locally led. In South Carolina, we saw a lot of neighbors helping neighbors. So we're hopeful that that will continue in the future. So what can you do to prepare now? Make a plan. Know what your insurance covers and how to file a claim. Have a kit. Be prepared to take care of yourself for up to 72 hours, especially if you plan to stay behind. If you know you're in an evacuation zone, which most of y'all are here, do you know where you're going to evacuate to? Is where you're planning on evacuating to pet-friendly if you have pets, or kid-friendly if you have kids? Do you have a communication plan? If you have family outside of the area, or if you've ever had family in other areas that were potentially impacted, you know how nerve-wracking it is to not be able to contact them to see if they're all right. So have a communication plan. And see what you can do now to mitigate potential impacts from future disasters. We have a pretty high threat hazard here, especially for hurricanes and floods and tornadoes. There are simple steps that you can take as a homeowner to make your home more resilient to future events. With that, are there any questions?
Is there an income or other asset limit necessary before you? Is there an income or other asset limit that you have to be above or below before you can even apply for one of these loans? Or you take anybody's loan?
To my knowledge, there's not a set limit. There are a number of factors that SBA, especially when they're looking at loans, there's a number of factors that they consider to determine both the need and the ability to repay the loan. To be completely honest, I couldn't tell you what exactly all of those are, but I would encourage, if you do believe you have that need, to go ahead and go through the process and apply.
What about the interaction of both flood insurance and wind and hail? Can both of them play a role in the recovery from a storm?
That's a very good question, absolutely. Any insurance that you have on your home that you believe should cover the damage caused by the disaster, you should file a claim. So if you have both flood insurance and regular homeowners insurance, if you've incurred both types of damages, go ahead and file a claim with both. If for whatever reason you don't believe that your insurance company is covering something they should be or is not being responsive, you are more than welcome to file a claim with the Department of Insurance. Okay, any other questions? All right, well, thank you very much.